गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं अस्मि गुरो मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो वक्रतुंड महाकाय कोटिसूर्यसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् सदस्ये नमः सर्वेभ्यो आगतेभ्यो विद्यार्थिभ्यः महाजनेभ्यः च नमः व्योम संस्कृत पाठशाला पक्षतः
क्षम्यतां भवत्याः वेबकैम नैव दृश्यते कृपया वीडियो शेयर करोतु
वीडियो ऑन अस्ति भगिनी मम पीपल कैन सी यू इति आगच्छति
एवं वा
मम अपि मम वेबकैम दृश्यते
एवं वा भवतु अत्र प्रायः मया नैव दृश्यते अस्तु भगिनी अहम् अत्र पश्यामि सर्वे वदन्ति द्रष्टुं शक्नुवन्ति इति धन्यवादाः
समस्तेभ्यो नमः सभापतिभ्यो नमः सभायै नमः वृन्दा भगिन्यै नमामि वृन्दा भगिनीं नमामि व्योम संस्कृत पाठशाला पक्षतः सर्वप्रथमं भगिनीम् आह्वयामि एषा पाठपरम्परा अस्माभिः आरब्धम् आसीत् 20 एप्रिल 2019 इत्यस्मिन् दिनाङ्के ततः सर्वं सम्यक् प्रचलितमस्ति भगिनी सम्यक् निर्वहति च सर्वेभ्यो सम्यक् गीतापाठान् पाठयति गीता मातुः आश्रयं दापयति सर्वे तत् श्लोकान् पठितुं समर्थाः भवन्ति आनन्दिताः भवन्ति अहं स्वयं पठामि तेषां विद्यार्थिनाम् आनन्दं यदा ते व्यञ्जयन्ति मेल्स् रूपेण वा तत् अहं सर्वदा पश्यामि वृन्दा भगिन्याः जीवने मातृ स्थानं प्राप्तम् इति अस्माकं आनन्दविषयः सा महती मेधा इति पुत्रीम् आहूतवती अस्मिन् विश्वे सा आगता वृन्दा भगिनीम् आनन्दं दातुं तस्याः पक्षतः अस्माकमपि आनन्दः प्राप्तः वयं सर्वे अपि गीता माता एव साक्षात् तस्याः पुत्रीरूपेण आगता स्यात् इति सा एवम् अनुरक्ता गीता पाठने इति अहं तस्याः विषये अत्यन्तं नन्दामि सर्वपक्षतः व्योम पाठशाला पक्षतः विद्यार्थिपक्षतः भगिनी अहम् अभिनन्दनानि ज्ञापयामि पुत्री प्राप्तये
धन्यवादाः
यदना भवत्याः विद्यार्थिनः भवत्यै प्रतीक्षिताः सन्ति नूतनाः अपि आगता नूतनविद्यार्थिभ्यः अपि स्वागतं व्याहरामि अत्र चिन्ता मास्तु कतिपयजनाः मध्ये आगन्तुं किञ्चित् भीताः आसन् किम् एतावन्ते अध्यायाः समाप्ताः एतावन्तः मध्ये आगत्य किं वयं पठितुं पारयामः अहम् उक्तवती एवं चाण्टिङ्ग् क्लासेस् वर्तन्ते चाण्टिङ्ग् कृते नियमाः सन्ति तान् नियमान् भगिनी पुनः ज्ञापयिष्यति तेषाम् आधारेण इतः परं पठन्तु गीता सुगीता कर्तव्या इति उच्यते एवं श्लोकार्धं वा श्लोकपादं वा पठामः चेदपि महत् पुण्याय भवति तत् महते पुण्याय भवति अतः अवश्यं तत् पठन्तु मध्ये आगत्यापि पठितुं शक्नुवन्ति इति अहं तान् आश्वसितवती अतः भवत्याः पक्षतः एवं पाठशाला पक्षतः तान् आश्वासनं करोमि अहं पुनः अपि। स्वागतं भवत्यै। नमो नमः।
धन्यवादाः भगिनी। अस्माकं सौभाग्यमेव अद्य, यतः उषा भगिनी आगतवती अस्माकं कक्ष्यायाम्। सर्वेभ्यः हृत्पूर्वक नमस्काराः, हृत्पूर्वक प्रणामाश्च। वयं सर्वे धन्याः, धन्यतराः, धन्यतमाः एव, यतः गीतायज्ञं वयं स्वीकृतवत्यश्च। गतवर्षस्य एप्रिल् मासे कक्ष्या आरब्धा एषा। सर्वेभ्यः पुनः स्वागतं ब्रवीमि। गीता सुगीता कर्तव्या किमन्यैः शास्त्रविस्तरैः, या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्माद् विनिसृता इति भवन्तः सर्वे, भवत्यः सर्वे च जानन्त्येव। साक्षात् भगवान् वदति, गीताश्रयेऽहं तिष्ठामि, गीता मे चोत्तमं गृहं, गीता ज्ञानमुपाश्रित्य त्रीन् लोकान् पालयाम्यहम् इति। श्री शंकर भगवत्पादाचार्याः अपि वदन्ति, भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीता, गंगाजललव कणिका पीता, सकृदपि येन मुरारि समर्चा, क्रियते तस्य यमेन न चर्चा इति। पुनः मोहमुद्गर स्तोत्रे एव श्री शंकर भगवत्पादाचार्याः वदन्ति, गेयं गीता नाम सहस्रम् इति। श्री शंकर भगवत्पादाचार्यान् सर्वान् सद्गुरून्, शारदाम्बाम्, अस्माकं मातरं विदुषी अनन्तलक्ष्मी महोदयां, तथा गीताचार्यं भगवन्तं श्रीकृष्णं सर्वान् पुनः पुनः नत्वा पुनः वयं गीतायज्ञं प्रारम्भं कुर्मः। A very warm welcome to all of you once again to this Learn to Chant Bhagavad Gita webinar. And also my heartfelt thanks to Usha Shankar Bhagini of Yoma for the introduction. With the blessings of Jagat Gurus Sharadamba, Geetacharya Shri Krishna, and our Guru Mata Vidushi Anantalakshmi Natarajan Mahodaya, from whom we have learned Bhagavad Gita, let us commence this Gita Yajna again today. As you all know, last April, that is 2019 April, we started with this class and we have completed the first 9 chapters, and we are going to commence with the 10th chapter. But today will be an introduction generally to the Bhagavad Gita and also to the rules of pronunciation for the benefit of those who are attending newly today, and also as a recap for all of them who have attended last year also, as this rules of pronunciation we had explained almost a year ago. So it would be a recap for all of you. So before we begin, let me once again invoke the blessings of our gurus, and with the Mangala Shlokas we will begin. Gurureva gatir gurumeva bhaje, gurunaiva sahasmi namo gurave, na guroh paramam शिशुरस्मि गुरोः, मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो, वागीशाद्याः सुमनसः सर्वार्थानामुपक्रमे, यं नत्वा कृतकृत्याः स्युः तं नमामि गजाननम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं, देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं, देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णौ वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। Salutations to Lord Krishna, who is known as the Jagat Guru. As you all know, we recently celebrated Vyasa Purnima, which is also known as Guru Purnima, where we offer our humble prayers to all our gurus. Krishna is known as the Jagat Guru for giving us the Bhagavad Gita, which has the essence of all the Vedas and the Upanishads. And also our humble pranams to Maharshi Vedavyasa, because of whom we have the Gita with us today. So he is the composer, as you all know, of the great epic Mahabharata. And in the Bhishma Parva, we find the Bhagavad Gita. Another very great work from the Mahabharata, which we all are aware of, is the Vishnu Sahasranamam. So it is only because of Maharshi Vedavyasa, who recorded this conversation between Bhagavan Krishna and Arjuna, that we have the Gita with us today. So our humble pranams to Maharshi Vyasa. अत्र वेबिनार् मध्ये अनेके ज्ञानवृद्धाः, वयोवृद्धाः, तेजोवृद्धाः सन्ति. तेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः मम नमस्काराः. यदि दोषाः सन्ति क्षन्तव्याः इति प्रार्थये. And once again, very thankful to Vyoma for this opportunity for us to be in this satsanga, especially now in these times of social distancing, etc. This satsanga is possible online for us, like an e-satsanga. So we are here to carry forward this Gita Yajna. And so very thankful to Vyoma Vishwanathan sir and Venkat Subramanian sir and all the team members of Vyoma for giving us this opportunity.
It is our utmost pleasure to have Vrinda Bhagini with us, with her melodious voice. I am really a fan of her voice. Let me tell you all that I keep listening her Stuti Kusumanjali again and again. I just want to correct one stotra as a part of my work. Okay, so but I want to see it again. Let me correct it again so that I have a chance to hear the stotra again in her voice. So you are all very lucky. We are all very lucky to have her. I also heard her some Bhagavad Gita classes, chanting classes before recordings also. So we are all very lucky to restart these classes, resume them. And now I don't want to take much time off it. I just wanted to tell this. Please enjoy having the spiritual benefit is one thing, and having the Madhura Vani of the Laukika benefit also is the another thing, along with the grammar and everything. So I'm very happy. I again welcome you. Thank you so much, Bhagini. So,
Dhanyavadaha, Bhagini.
In the class, I'll just keep off. Okay. So please continue the class.
Dhanyavadaha, dhanyavadaha. Thank you very much to Usha Bhagini, who is also a part of our Vyoma team. So like I was saying, the Bhagavad Gita is the work found in the Mahabharata in the Bhishma Parva. It is a conversation in the form of a dialogue between Bhagavan Shri Krishna and Arjuna. All of you already are aware of the context in which this conversation happened. Arjuna is in the battlefield of Kurukshetra when the armies of the Pandavas and the Kauravas are arrayed for the war. And in the middle of the battlefield, just before the war starts, Arjuna gets disillusioned and he tells Krishna that he doesn't want to fight anymore. So he says, Vepatushcha sharire me roma harshashcha jayate gandivam sramsate hastat tvakchaiva paridahyate nacha shaknomi avasthatum bhramativa cha me manaha nakangshe vijayam Krishna nacha rajyam sukhani cha. All these verses are there in the first chapter, that is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Like the name says, the yoga, the chapter which deals with the sorrow, the grief of Arjuna. And he says how his skin is burning, he is unable to stand, the Gandiva falls from his hand, and he is also seeing ill omens and his head is reeling. So all these changes are happening in the brave warrior Arjuna due to his mental state. And this happens because he sees his gurus, his granduncles, his uncles, his cousins, his family men, all of them arrayed there to wage a war. And then Arjuna says, how can I kill my own people? So Nakankshe Vijayam Krishna, Nacha Rajyam Sukhanicha. I don't want to fight. I don't want the kingdom. I don't want the happiness. So at that point of time, when Arjuna is in that state of mind, then Krishna gives him initially a very patient hearing, and then he gives him all the courage and confidence and life lessons and the spiritual guide in the form of the Bhagavad Gita. And as soon as he hears this entire discourse, and it's actually a conversation, not a monologue by Krishna, Arjuna clears so many of his doubts by asking Krishna various questions. And by the end of it, he's again brave and ready to wage the war again. So the Gita, therefore, is a great spiritual guide, but it is not only a spiritual guide, it is also a great psychological and a practical guide as to how to lead one's life, because everyone faces times of disillusionment in life like Arjuna did, and all of us face difficulties, highs and lows. Chakravat parivartante dukkhani cha sukhani cha. So how to maintain one's balance of mind and dhairyam and sthiryam at all times, this definitely comes by studying the Bhagavad Gita. This actually reminds me, of something which is very famous in social media these days. Most of you might have already read about it, how they say 4 things are very important for a person in life to be happy and to be successful. Successful not just in terms of profession or how much you achieve in terms of worldly achievements, but also in terms of being happy in life. So they say you need IQ, EQ, SQ and AQ also. IQ is intelligence quotient, EQ emotional quotient, SQ social quotient, and AQ adversity quotient. So now, especially in times such as these, when everything is so uncertain, to maintain one's balance of mind and stay happy, you need all these things. So the Gita is a work which helps you attain all these. So how is that? By memorizing the verses, it definitely helps you improve your IQ, your intelligence quotient. Then coming to the emotional quotient, Gita has so many lessons about how to manage one's emotions. Sukha dukkhe same kritva labha labhau jaya jayo manapamanayo stulyaha tulyo mitrari pakshayoho. So how one has to be balanced in sukha dukkha, mana apamana. That is when one is praised or when one is blamed, in times of happiness, in times of sorrow, in all these things, in both these, in all such situations, how to maintain one's balance of mind. And coming to social quotient, Gita gives us so many lessons about great qualities, especially when you come to 12th chapter, 13th chapter, which we will learn. Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells us, Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitraha karuna evacha. Adveshta sarvabhutanam. Do not dislike anyone. So love everyone. Maitraha, friendship. Karuna, pity or mercy. Nirmamaha, nirahankaraha. Do not have ego. So all these, and also even in the 13th chapter, there are beautiful qualities described by Krishna: amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, that is non-violence, kshantihi, arjavam, acharyopasanam, shaucham, sthiryam, atma vinigraha. These are very few I'm telling you here. It is not possible to, probably explain everything in 1 hour, but just telling you how there are many qualities which Lord Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, which definitely help us while living in this society. So that helps you for your social quotient. Coming to adversity quotient. So the Gita is a great guide to help all of us face adversities in life. You have already learned, those who are attending the classes have already learned Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava. So Arjuna asks, who is a Sthita prajna in the 2nd chapter? And Lord Krishna describes how a Sthita prajna, a person who is of a stable mind, balanced mind, is dukkheshu anudvignamanaha, sukheshu vigatasprihaha, vita raga bhaya krodhaha sthitadhihi muniruchyate. So how to maintain one's balance of mind? All these things you find in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, it is a very practical and a psychological guide, which is very relevant for people in all walks of life and of all ages. Therefore, we study the Bhagavad Gita. Now, the primary focus of this class is going to be chanting, and we are not going to go into the meaning of each of the verses in detail, like you all already know. However, whenever we come across these very important, significant verses, then I will briefly deal with the meaning of those verses in each chapter as we come across, and then we will proceed. So that is going to be the focus of this class. Now, some of you might have already learned, the Gita, or some of you might have read the meaning, but it is best to read the Moola, that is to read the Gita in its original in Sanskritam. Therefore, though prior knowledge of Sanskritam is not needed, you should learn to read each word accurately, correctly splitting the sandhi, correctly pronouncing the short vowels and the long vowels. There are some basic rules of pronunciation which hold good for all the Gita verses and also for any Sanskrit text for that matter. So we will be dealing with those briefly in today's class. We have already done it initially, like I said, about a year back or before that. So today we will deal with it in brief. Those who have not attended the first 9 chapters, even for you, this will be helpful, because with the help of these rules, you'll be able to learn the verses which you did not attend. And of course, like you know, all the recordings are available and on YouTube and on the course page. So you can learn at your own pace the first 9 chapters, but you can start from the 10th chapter. Whoever has not attended before, please start from now onwards. And when you learn these chapters, it will help you in learning the previous ones also. So that is going to be the focus of this class. And coming to the other benefits of chanting, any chanting for that matter, chanting also is a great breathing exercise. It's like pranayama. So you have alpa prana, maha prana, aksharani, which we will discuss again today in today's class. And you hold your breath while chanting a shloka. So that is a great exercise for the lungs, and it helps you improve your breathing capacity and your lung capacity. So all of you, please read the verses aloud every day. Whether it's the Gita, read at least 1 chapter of the Gita every day, and any other verse also could be Vishnu Sahasranamam, Lalita Sahasranamam. We have all those classes going on in Vyoma. So chanting is a great exercise which gives you the benefits like pranayama. And also chanting improves your pronunciation and improves, once you learn Sanskritam, it helps you appreciate many other Indian languages also, because there are many words in all Indian languages which are borrowed from Sanskritam, because Sanskritam is the mother of both Indian and many foreign languages also. So there are all these benefits. And for those who have not learned Sanskritam, this can be a starting point for you. Through the Gita, you can start getting familiar with the verses, with the words, with the sandhis, and you can also start learning Sanskritam, as it will help you appreciate the text better and any other verses which you might learn later. So with this, let us with this brief introduction, we will now move to the rules of pronunciation in brief. Okay, so what you see here is the chart. This is the Samskrita Varnamala. That is, Varnaha means letters. Varnamala would mean the garland of letters. Here you have Swaraha, Ayogavaha, Vyanjanani, Yamaha. Now in this chart, I'm only going to deal with those aspects which are relevant for Bhagavad Gita chanting. Anything grammatically which we deal with, be it sandhi or anything else, we will be dealing with them only with reference to the Bhagavad Gita. If you want to learn more about any of these aspects, we have other products in Vyoma, and we also have other webinars going on where you can get more information about each of these aspects. Let us begin with Swaraha. Swayam Rajante iti Swaraha. So those letters which please of their own accord, or which can stand on their own, are called Swaraha. Now in Swaraha, you all will be knowing A, A, I, all these are Swaraha. You have 3 types: Hrasva Swaraha, Dirgha Swaraha, and Plutaha. Now, Hrasva Swaraha, Dirgha Swaraha, these are the two which we will be coming across in our Gita chanting. Hrasva Swaraha are those which are short vowels. Dirghaha, like the name itself suggests, are long vowels. Now, Hrasvaha, how do you, for in Sanskritam, everything is very scientific. Like even the Varnamala, you have where each letter originates. So based on that, you have rules. Now, Hrasvaha, the definition says, Ekamatro bhaved Hrasvaha, meaning a letter which takes one matra kala to pronounce is called Hrasvaswara. One matra kala is a unit of time. Now, one example, common example is the time you take to blink your eyes once is called one matra kala. So when you say a, I, u, r, l, so these letters are short vowels and the time taken to pronounce them is equal to the time taken to blink your eyes once. So these are Hrasvaha. Then you have Dirghaha. Dvimatro Dirgha Uchyate. Two matra kalas, exactly double of Hrasva. They are called Dirghasvaraha. They are here in the chart. Shamyatam, I think I lost my audio connection. I hope it is audible now.
आं भगिनी मध्ये किञ्चित् स्थगितम् आसीत् वीडियो अपि स्थगितं भवति प्रायः कनेक्शन समस्या एव अस्ति नौ आल्सो द फ्लो इज नॉट देयर भगिनी भगिनी मध्ये सर्वं स्थगितम् अभवत् हरि ओम् Hari Om, I think the connection is lost totally. So please bear with us. Let us wait for Vrinda Bhagini to come back. The connection issues are very pressing. I mean, Hari Om. Bhagini, could you please keep your webcam off, or sometimes even that takes a lot of internet? No, yeah.
इदानीं
आम् अधुना अधुना श्रूयते भगिनी
श्रूयते वा क्षम्यतां दृश्यते वा
अधुना दृश्यते आम् आम् अधुना दृश्यते वेक्टम् यस् 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 इट्स् देयर
तत् स्वराः इति यत् मया उक्तं तत् श्रुतं वा
आम् किञ्चित् तावत् पर्यन्तमेव श्रुतं स्वयं राजन्ते इति स्वराः ततः किञ्चित् अपरमपि श्रुतं
पुनः वदामि
भवती यदि कनेक्शन समस्या वर्तते चेत् वेबकैम ऑफ करोति चेदपि तत् किञ्चित् सेव् भवति यदि समस्या अस्ति तर्हि पुनरावर्तते तर्हि वेबकैम ऑफ करोतु अधुना तु स्थापयतु
भवतु भगिनि भवतु एवमेव करोमि Shamyatam, I think we lost the connection in between. Apologies for that. I hope you're all able to see and listen to me now. So we were in Hrasva Swaraha, that is Ekamatro Bhavet Hrasvaha. Hrasva Swaraha are short vowels. The time taken to say blink your eyes once. Matra kala is a unit of time. So one example is the time taken to blink your eyes once. So that would be the time taken to pronounce a hrasva swara. So a, I, u, r, l. Dirghaha, double, that is dvimatro dirgha uchyate. Two matra kalas would be called dirgha swaraha, like a, I, u, r, a, I, o, au. And plutaha would be even more than, the time taken to pronounce plutaha is more than dirghaha, but we will not come across plutaha, so we will be dealing with hrasvaha and dirghaha. It is very important to note the difference, because while chanting the verses, and you will know when we chant, a hrasva swara should be pronounced only as a short vowel. You should not prolong it, even if it is at the end of a pada. Now, pada means a quarter of a shloka. Whenever I say pada, it means quarter of any verse. And dirghaha, of course, you need to pronounce them as long vowels, and they shouldn't be cut short. So this you have to keep in mind. Then we have ayogavahaha, which are of 4 types: anuswaraha, visargaha, jihvamuliyaha, and upadhmaniyaha. Anuswaraha, example is actually the dot above a, that is the anuswaraha, and visargaha, the 2 dots, that is in aha, the 2 dots, that is called a visarga. Now those combine with swaras or with vyanjanani. So you have aha, and jihvamuliyaha. This is what we get, the pronunciation we get when visarga is followed by ka or kha. For example, antah karanam, antaha plus karanam, antah karanam. There you have the visarga followed by ka. So therefore you do not pronounce it as antaha karanam, you pronounce it as antah karanam. That is a jihvamuliya. Next is upadhmaniya. That is when a visarga is followed by pa or pha, then you get what we call an upadhmaniya. For example, Naguroh Paramam. Now you all know the verse Gurure Vagatihi. In that Naguroho Paramam, a visarga, Guroho, visarga followed by pa. You don't chant it as Naguroho Paramam. While chanting together, we chant it as Naguroh Paramam. So Upadhmaniya is you expel the air and immediately close your lips. So that is how an Upadhmaniya is pronounced. Now in Jihvamuliya, you must remember that while a visarga is followed by ka and kha, you get a Jihvamuliya. But when a visarga is followed by ksha, then the visarga is chanted completely. One very good example in the Bhagavad Gita is Sukha Dukkhe. Sorry, no, not this. Yeah, Sukha Dukkhe. So there, Dukkham, du with a visarga and kha. So there you have Dukkham. So that would be a Jihvamuliya. Another example from the Gita itself, Sama Dukkha Sukhaha Kshami. Sama Dukkha Sukhaha Kshami. While chanting, how do you chant it? Sama Dukkha Sukhaha Kshami. So Dukkham, there is the Jihvamuliya, a visarga followed by kha. Whereas Sama Dukkha Sukhaha, completely you chant the visarga and kshami. Therefore, when a visarga is followed by ksha, then visarga is chanted completely. So I hope these are clear. As we go through verses, it will become even more clear for you how Jihvamuliya and Upadhmaniya, how they're pronounced. Now let us come to Vyanjanani. Vyanjanani are what we refer to as consonants in English. So you have in Sanskritam 2 main types of consonants. Vargiya Vyanjanani, Avargiya Vyanjanani. Of course, you have other types also like Mrudu, Karkasha and all those. But for our purposes now, let us deal with this type. Vargiya, Avargiya. Vargiya, as the name itself suggests, Varga means group. So Vargiya Vyanjanani are grouped consonants. And Avargiya are those without a group. So Vargiya would be 5 groups of consonants of 5 each. So 25. Here, k, k, g, g, ng, ch ch j j nya, t th d th n, t th d th n, and p p b b m. These are Vargiya Vyanjanani. Ka vargaha, cha vargaha, ta vargaha, ta vargaha, and pa vargaha. These are important because if you see the first and the third letter of each varga, these are called Alpa Pranaksharani. The first, ka, ga, cha, ja, ta, da, ta, da, pa, ba. These are Alpa Pranaksharani. Again, I said everything, the definition, everything is so scientific in Sanskritam and very logical. Alpa Prana, Alpa, little, Prana, breath. They require less breath. So these are called Alpa Pranaksharani. Now, if these require less breath, you have another kind of consonants which require more breath. They are called Mahapranaksharani. They are the second and the fourth letter of each varga. Kha, gha, cha, jha, tha, dha, tha, dha, pa, bha. These are Mahapranaksharani. They require more breath. You, as you pronounce, you yourself will realize. Ka, kha, ga, gha. So the second and the fourth letter require more prana. So that is Mahapranaksharani. Very important distinction. You have to make this distinction very clear while chanting. Alpa prana you should not replace with Mahaprana. Similarly, when there is a Mahaprana, it has to be chanted as a Mahaprana and it cannot be chanted as an Alpa prana. So this distinction, please have it in mind. Everywhere, every verse, I will point out the Mahapranas to you and you will be able to recognize, identify them and chant. And Mahaprana also, I mean, even Vargiya Vyanjanani also have Mahapranas, not only Vargiya Vyanjanani, that is Sha, Sha, Sa, Ha are Mahaprana because they require more breath. Now coming to Avargiya Vyanjanani, you have Ya, Ra, La, Va, Sha, Sha, Sa and Ha. These are non-grouped consonants. These are called Avargiya Vyanjanani. Now here there are three letters which you should be very careful about. That is Sha, Sha and Sa. Similar sounding, but you have to differentiate them while chanting. Coming to the first one, Sha. Sha is like Shivaha, Shankaraha, Sha. And Tapaschaiva, there also it is Sha. Next is Sha. So you twist your tongue more while pronouncing Sha. This is Shivaha, Shanmukhaha. I hope you get the difference. This is Sha, this is Sha. Sha requires more effort from the tongue. So that is how you should differentiate. Shankaraha, Shanmukhaha, Shat, Shadananaha. So that is the difference between Sha and Sha. Next, of course, is Sa, Sarvam, Sumanoharam, Swasti. All these are beginning with Sa. So note the difference between Sha, Sha and Sa. These letters you should identify and pronounce perfectly while pronouncing the verses. And the last letters of each varga, they are called Anunasika Aksharani. Anunasika, again the name suggests, Anu, they follow the nose, the nasal letters. These are Nga, Nya, Na, Na, Ma. The last letter of each varga is an Anunasika Akshara. That is the nasal consonants which follow the nose. You will pronounce them with the help of the nose. Therefore, they are called Anunasikaksharani. So this is a brief introduction to the Varnamala, and we will be repeating these rules, and also I'll be referring to Hrasva Swaras, Dirgha Swaras, Mahaprana, Alpa Prana. When I say that, you will, if you know this basic rule, you will understand what each of those letters mean. Now, if you see here, the Vargiya Vyanjanani, they are written as K, G with a Halanta. So actually that is the Vyanjanam. K plus A gives you Ka. So when you say Ka, it is a Gunitaksharam. It has both a Vyanjanam and a Swara combined. So that is how you get Ka, Ka, Ki, Ki and all those. Now, a Vyanjanam by itself is Ardhamatrakam. That is, you only, the pronunciation of a Vyanjanam by itself without a Swara is half a Matra Kala, half of a Hrasva. So when you say Bhuyat, T in the end, that is a Vyanjanam. So that pronunciation is Ardhamatrakam, the half of a Matra Kala. Now, after this, we also have combined letters, that is Samyuktaksharani. Samyuktaksharani are when you have more than one Vyanjanam in one particular word. For example, let us take this word Swaraha itself. This letter here, Swa, it is S plus V plus A, Swa. Similarly, Vyanjanani, this here, Vyanja, this letter here is a Samyuktakshara. It is Nya plus Ja. And here, Varnaha, R plus Na, N plus A and a Visarga. So you have these, all these are called Samyuktaksharani. They are important because in some verses you find multiple Samyuktaksharani. So you can also call them Samyuktaksharani or Sanyuktaksharani. Both are correct. Both pronunciations are right. For example, if you take this verse, Tata shvetaiर्हयैर्युक्ते महति स्यन्दने स्थितौ माधवः पाण्डवश्चैव दिव्यौ शङ्खौ pradadhmatuhu. So this is a verse from the first chapter. Shvetairhayair-yukte. See, in this word you have so many Sanyuktaksharas. Shve, tair, hayair, yuk, here, kte. All these, so many refas, that is rakaras. You should take care to pronounce each of them clearly. So if anybody is listening to you without a book and has to write down, they should be able to hear each and every letter's pronunciation clearly. So each letter should be that clearly pronounced. Here, Shankau, this is Mahaprana and a Sanyuktakshara. Look at this word, Pradadhmatuhu, the Alpaprana, followed by the Mahaprana. So that should be very clearly differentiated. Pradadhmatuhu, first is an Alpaprana, second Mahaprana, this is a Sanyuktakshara. So this is why these rules of Mahaprana, Alpaprana and Sanyuktaksharas become very important. Now let us go back to the chart. I told you about Visarga and Anuswaraha. Visargaha and Anuswaraha, you have certain rules again while pronouncing the Visarga and Anuswara with certain letters. In Sanskritam, you have the concept of Sandhi, like you have in many other Indian languages. When two words combine according to their sound, then it is called a Sandhi. That's a very loosely put definition. Now we will come across many Sandhayaha while chanting. So when we split the Sandhi, we will have to be very careful while splitting. Like for example, if there is a word at the end of a pada, or you are combining the Sandhi, then your splitting and combining the words should be done carefully. That in every verse I will point out to you, but we will not go into the rules of all the Sandhis here. There is a separate product by Vyoma, which is a wonderful product on Sandhi, and there is a downloadable app both for iOS and for Android. So if you want to learn more about Sandhis, you can download that app, or you can go to that Vyoma product on Sandhi and learn more about it. Now coming to Visargaha, Visargaha, when it is followed by Sa, for example, in the verse Vasudevaha Sarvamiti, while chanting together, we chant it as Vasudeva Sarvamiti. So a Visarga followed by Sakara, you get an extra Sakara there. So that is one rule. That is Visarga Sakara Sandhi. We will deal with it again in every verse. And also coming to say the next verse here, the verse which I showed you. Tatashvetairhayair yukte. In this verse, Tataha shvetaihi. So while chanting together, we don't chant it as Tataha shvetaihi. We chant it as Tatashvetair hayair yukte. Here you have multiple visarga sandhya actually. Tataha shvetaihi becomes Tatat shvetaihi and then Tatashvetaihi. So there is a sandhi happening here. Tatashvetaihi hayaihi yukte. Here shvetaihi hayaihi becomes shvetair hayair yukte. That is visarga refa sandhi. We don't have to learn the rules of the sandhis, but as much as it is necessary to chant, we will need. Like for example here, Tatashvetair hayair yukte. If it is not shown in the verse, you can make a note. Like when I teach you, you can make a note here, like it will be chanted as Tatashvetair hayair yukte. So therefore, you need to know these brief rules of sandhi, how they operate. As we learn more verses, it will become very clear to all of you how each of these sandhis operate. Also, when there is O at the end of a pada, for example, Param bhavam ajananto. This is one verse in the Gita. Sometimes even in books, you will see that a visarga at the end of a pada would be indicated as okara. While splitting, if we are going to split and take a breath there, the way we chant is we chant the visarga instead of the okara. Let me show you another example here. There is one verse which you all know. Sarvopanishado gavo. Yes, this verse. So here, in some books, you will see it would be given as gavo itself. The reason we have written gavaha, okay, sorry, I think someone's voice also was heard. Sarvopanishado gavo, it will be given in some books. Whereas when we are chanting, we split the sandhi. So a visarga at the end of a pada, we chant it as Sarvopanishado gavaha. So this is another example of how the visarga works. Now coming to the rules of anuswara. We'll have to, I'll do it in brief because we have 10 more minutes and there is another class starting at 6:15 or so we won't have too much time. Anuswaraha, certain rules. Whenever an anuswara is followed by a vargiya vyanjanam. Now you all know vargiya vyanjanam, what it means, these letters. Then the anuswara gets optionally replaced by the last letter of that varga. And these are certain optional rules. You can either combine and chant or you can split it and chant. Both are correct. But we generally recommend and we follow combining and chanting. So what does this mean? If I give you an example, it will become clearer for you. Let us take this verse. Vasudeva Sutan Devam. Let's take that verse. Yes. So here you can also chant it as Vasudeva Sutam Devam. That is also correct. To completely chanting the anuswara. But the optional rule which we follow and which we recommend is combining. So an anuswara followed by a vargiya vyanjanam. Here an anuswara is followed by the. It gets replaced by the fifth letter, that is the anunasika letter of that varga itself. So ta, the, na. Therefore, Vasudeva Sutan Devam. So instead of chanting the anuswara completely, we can chant it as Vasudeva Sutan Devam. That is also an optional rule of pronouncing anuswaras. Then when an anuswara is, that is, you know what an anuswara is now, is followed by the letters ya, la or va, then optionally these ya, la and va letters would get the nasal sound, that is the anunasika sound. This verse itself is a perfect example. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So you can chant it as Krishnam Vande, complete anuswara, or Krishnau Vande. I hope you get the difference. Krishnam Vande. When you chant the Anuswara completely, the optional rule is Krishnau Vande. So you're getting the nasal tone here for V. Another example of this would be Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangullangayate Girim. And even in Yam Brahma, you have another example of this here. Pangullangayate Girim. And in we will come across more of these examples. This is just to make you understand now how it works. Here another one is here. Kamala Nayanam Yogibhir Dhyana Gamyam. So instead of Kamala Nayanam, you can chant it as Kamala Nayanai Yogibhir Dhyana Gamyam. So this is how when an Anuswara is followed by Ya, La or Ba, optionally you get the Anunasika sound. So that is the rule regarding Anuswara. Apart from this, there is one more aspect of pronunciation called Dvitvam, which we will come across very frequently. I'll give you an example of this. The first verse of the Bhagavad Gita, Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. If you see here, Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. We don't chant it as Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. Dharmakshetre. You're getting a k here. If you listen keenly while chanting, let me chant and demonstrate. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. So if you see after ma, you're getting a k, and after ru again you're getting a k here. So when that happens, when a hrasva is followed by a sanyuktakshara, then you get the double sound called dvitvam, as the name again itself suggests, dvi, two. So you don't chant it as Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. That is wrong. You chant it as Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. So whenever there is a dvitva, most of the times it happens like without one's knowledge. Involuntarily you chant the dvitva because the pronunciation itself comes like that while chanting a verse. But I will also point out the dvitvas in each of the verses for you so that it will be easier for you to remember. Now that is a very brief explanation on the rules of pronunciation. You will understand them in detail once we start with the verses. We have very less time, but let me just chant the Dhyana Shlokas today, which we have already learned before. And also it is a practice that we start with the first verse of the Gita and we end with the last verse of the last chapter. That is, there are 18 chapters. We start with the first verse of the first chapter, end with the last verse of the 18th chapter every class. So we will do that, and then I will see if we have any questions. If I'm not able to answer them, please write to us. I'll give you the email IDs also. So we will reply there. Like I said, there is a class starting soon after this class, so we may not be able to extend it for too long. Let us begin with the Dhyana Shlokas now. While I'm chanting these, please try to recollect the rules, the Mahaprana, Alpaprana, Sandhi rules, and try to follow them. Parthaya pratibodhitam bhagavata Narayanena swayam Vyasena grathitam Purana munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Adashadhyayinim Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vindayata Patra Netra येन त्वया भारत तैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमय प्रदीपः प्रपन्न पारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णौ वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवै रणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलम् गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेसरम् हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरहः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद् भारत पङ्कजं कलिमलप्रध्वंसि न श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुल्लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् गीताशास्त्रमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् प्रयतः पुमान् विष्णोः पदमवाप्नोति भयशोकादिवर्जितः गीताध्ययनशीलस्य प्राणायामपरस्य च नैव सन्ति हि पापानि पूर्वजन्मकृतानि च मलनिर्मोचनं पुंसां जलस्नानं दिने दिने सकृद्गीताम्भसि स्नानं संसारमलनाशनम् गीतासु गीता कर्तव्या किमन्यैः शास्त्रविस्तरैः या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्माद्विनिसृता भारतामृतसर्वस्वं विष्णोर्वक्त्राद्विनिसृतं गीता गङ्गोदकं पीत्वा पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्रगीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभिर्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यै योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे किमकुर्वत संजय verse is by Dhritarashtra asking Sanjaya what did the Pandavas and the Kauravas
Bhagini,
इदानीं श्रूयते वा?
इदानीं श्रूयते. So please put the webcam off. Maybe that is taking. Madhya again it came. The problem came. So just now, for a few seconds. That's all. So
I will stop sharing my webcam.
yes,
Dhanyavadah, Bhagini. I will stop sharing my webcam because I think there is some problem with the connection. Sorry. So you can hear me, but I will stop sharing my webcam.
Right.
Most of the verses in the Bhagavad Gita are in what we call Anushtup Chandas. Anushtup would mean in one pada. Like I said, each pada is a quarter. Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, till here is one pada. Samaveta Yuyutsavaha is the second pada. Third is Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. Fourth is Kimakurvata Sanjaya. So in Anushtup Chandas, each pada, each quarter has 8 letters. Apart from other rules of Anushtup, 8 letters in each pada. You have also another chandas in Bhagavad Gita, that is Upajati, 4 line verses, what we call very commonly. They are bigger shlokas, 11 letters in each pada. So these are the 2 types you come across, and the tune changes a bit for those verses. Those who have already learnt will know about that. We will come to that. We will learn the tune when we come to those verses of Upajati chandas. Now, there are 18 chapters. Today, I thought I can give you a brief overview of each yoga, each chapter, but we have already run out of time. So, first chapter, like I said, is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Second is Sankhya Yoga. Third is Karma Yoga. Fourth is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Fifth is Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Sixth is Atma Sanyama Yoga. Seventh, Jnana Vijnana Yoga. 8th, Akshara Brahma Yoga. 9th, Raja Vidya Raja Guhya Yoga. Till here we have completed. We will be starting with the 10th, which is Vibhuti Yoga, which is a beautiful chapter where Krishna says how he is manifested in everything in nature. We will learn about it. Then the 11th is Vishwarupa Darshana. Like you know, the Lord shows his universal Vishwarupa form. 12th is Bhakti Yoga. 13th is Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. 14th is Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. 15th is Purushottama Yoga. 16th Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. 17th Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Finally, the last 18th chapter is Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. So we will complete now 10th to 18th chapters. We will start from the 10th and go consecutively till the 18th chapter. The 10th chapter's verses are here, but we don't have time to start them today. We will start next class. We will conclude with the last verse, which is chanted by Sanjaya. So Dhritarashtra says the first verse. Sanjaya is narrating to Dhritarashtra what is happening. And then, of course, the entire Gita, apart from this, is the dialogue between Arjuna and Shri Krishna. I will chant this verse. Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishnah Yatra Partho Dhanurdharah Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutihi Dhruvani tirmama. Very briefly, this verse is a guide for how we should lead our life, where you have the grace of Lord, that is Yogeshwara Krishna, the grace of Bhagavan, and where you have the human effort, that is represented by Arjuna. So when you have both human effort and grace of Bhagavan, there definitely there is Shrihi, prosperity, and Vijayaha, success. So both are equally important to achieve anything in life. So this is the concluding verse by Sanjaya. Now a few questions. I have already answered all of this. I have told you this during the course of this webinar. And if you have any more questions, you can ask me. Also, another announcement is there is going to be an assessment for those of you who want a certificate that you have completed learning 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. The details of the assessment, we will share it soon with you. There will be two types of assessments. One is memorization, where you will get a certificate for memorizing. The second is Parayanam, where you can see and chant without mistakes. Even that you will get a certificate, but it has to be perfect. Whether you memorize or chant, you should aim to achieve perfection. And there are many other universities and also certain temples, like for example Sringeri Shankara Matha. There, if you chant 18 chapters, Sadguravaha will ask you any chapter to chant. He will tell you this shloka, this chapter. If you have memorized all the 18 chapters, then you get blessings and recognition from Sringeri Sharada Peetham, also from Sadguravaha there. So you can use this webinar, all of you, to learn and also get the blessings of gurus. And I also heard that there are some universities which also gives us certification. You can do that as well. We will also have our own assessment, the details of which we will share soon. And any questions, you can write to us at sanskritfromhome@Vyoma Labs, or to my personal email ID. Either is fine. I have a lot of comments in the questions panel, but not really any questions which I can see. Is there a PDF site for the rules you mentioned? You can, there is, I mean, our Vyoma Samskrita Pathashala website is there, where you can gain access to a lot of these tools, Vyakarana tools also. Usha Bhagini maybe can elaborate on that also.
Yes, sure. So please log into Sanskrit from home, and you can really browse for all the things. We can guide you elaborately some other time, because like please write to us. We will guide you to the same ID. You can write sanskritfromhome@vyomalabs.in. We'll guide you with all your questions.
Yes, thank you, Bhagini. And another common question which I have everywhere is, I've joined today, is it okay? Yes, please continue. In fact, the way we learned Bhagavad Gita also as children from our Mata, Anantalakshmi Mata, was we learned the 12th chapter, 15th chapter. So we learned these chapters first, then went to the first chapter. So then we completed the entire Gita. So it is okay to chant, start from any chapter and start learning that chapter. Now, if you start from the 10th chapter, we will continue till the 18th, but you have all the recordings on the course page and on YouTube. So as you attend these classes, you will be very familiar with the rules of pronunciation, which will hold good for the first 9 chapters as well. The tune is the same, the rules of pronunciation are the same. So the chandas also, like I said, it is only 2 types of chandas you find throughout, mostly Anushtup, then Upajati. So once you start this, you will be able to pick up the other chapters which you have missed on your own. So please do not take it as a constraint. Any chapter, anytime you join, you can start learning. That is never a constraint. And on your own, you can read, or you can also take the help of our previous classes, and you can learn the other 9 chapters on your own. Another question was, if I'm joining now, how do we do the assessment? We will give you ample time. The assessment is not going to be immediate. So by that time you will be familiar with the verses, with the way of chanting, and even the classes you have missed you will be able to pick up. This I'm telling you by experience, because once you learn at least 1 or 2 chapters perfectly, all the other chapters chanting also becomes easy. You will familiarize yourself with where to stop, etc. So we will give you ample time, and if possible before the assessment we can also have a revision session where you can ask me your doubts from previous chapters which you have missed, and you can revise and get your doubts cleared. Then we can have an assessment at a mutually convenient time. We still have 9 more chapters to go, so that assessment is not going to be immediate. So please do not think that you will not be able to do it because you haven't attended the previous classes. So now let us conclude with Shanti Mantraha. Also, the Hritpurvaka Dhanyavadaha and gratitude and thanks to all of you who have sent me multiple emails about the class starting and congratulating me. I'm very grateful to all of you. I'm replying to each email. Sorry, I haven't replied to all of them yet. I'm aware of it. I will slowly reply to all of them. Thank you very much. I feel very grateful to all of you for all your blessings, and let us continue this Gita Yajna together. We are really blessed to be a part of this. So we will conclude with Shanti Mantraha. Any unanswered questions, please write to us. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dhanyavadaha Usha Bhagini. Sarvebhyah Hritpurvaka Dhanyavadaha. Ram Ram Ram.
राम 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 व्योमपक्षतः पुनः अपि अहं धन्यवादान् ज्ञापयामि सर्व नवछात्रेभ्यः स्वागतम्. Hope you all enjoyed this class because it's a wonderful, very concisely put all the rules at one time. Vrinda Bhagini has done a wonderful task of in a short time. I can also use this as my I will preserve this lesson for my learning process also. All the rules at one place. It's a wonderful experience for me. I have been here in the class for the whole session. So these things will be there available for you. Please don't think that it has been very fast. You can always go back to the class video and it will be put in YouTube also. So please visit our channel Vyoma Samskrita Pathashala. So there without registration also you can have it, but please get registered for all the kinds of news that you will have on these sessions. Okay, thank you so much.
Dhanyavada. Punah Milamaha Agami Shanivasare. So we will meet at 5 p.m. IST. Please note the change in timings. So it will be in the evening instead of the morning now. 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. IST every Saturday. Dhanyavadaha.
And one more little thing, the GMT issue is there. These timings are coming in GMT. So please don't be confused. It is 5 p.m. Saturday only India Standard Time. Okay, please don't be confused by the 12:30 or something else that GMT is giving. Please don't be misled by that. So the mails are coming. So I'm just telling to all the please make a note of it that it is going to be Saturday 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Okay, please don't be confused.
Dhanyavadaha. Ram Ram Ram.